anyway, it's haunted.
Well, never mind.
Man, we're not pleasing you at all.
This is the secret little lost episode of So Anyway, it's haunted.
Why is this a lost episode when it's going to be the next episode we put out?
This is the found episode
Oh, my
that's
Lord.
not lost of So Anyway, it's haunted.
I like it.
I like it.
I like it.
I like it. Hi, welcome to So Anyway, It's Haunted, the podcast where we talk about haunted places and urban legends and folklore, and we read your paranormal listener stories. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2020. Hope 2020 is treating you well.
Who's there?
We hope all our listeners in Australia are doing well, that you guys are safe. And we want to say hi to all our new listeners. We've been getting a
Howdy.
lot of new followers.
Wow.
What's up? Hello. Everyone loved the lucid dreaming episodes. Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. We'll give you a big traditional Texas howdy.
Yeehaw.
Yep.
Are we saying howdy now, or
Yeah.
we say it now?
Yeah.
Okay, and then 1, 2, 3.
Howdy,
y'all.
y'all.
That's what happens when we don't practice. Well, I don't think anything has changed with us. Nothing is new.
Contraire.
Okay.
There was a brief period of time where my main method of getting to my job was kaput. So I was
his
given...
truck no work.
Yeah.
Now they know it's a truck.
We've talked about, we've literally chanted truck on here.
Are you Monster Mac?
Does he also have a truck?
Yes.
I thought you guys were truck brothers.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But
Dang.
they're like, I didn't know. That's right. Anyways, I had to get rides to work, and I had to be dropped off like 3 hours early because of conflicting schedules. And I waited to not. I made sure not to tell you guys about this until we were recording. After almost 10 years, I had the reoccurring dream again.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not in a truck, not in a parking lot. I was in my office, and I had all the lights turned off except for a monitor, which was playing some very low music. I had the volume extremely low, so I could nap on the floor while I waited for the 3 hours to pass for my work to start.
Did you set yourself up a pallet?
No, this fool just sleeps like straight on the floor.
Just slept on the floor.
You just lay down on the floor, go to sleep.
But the thing is, it's my area is 2 rooms that are connected, and while I was laying down, I was like, oh, I really don't like that other room's just there with a big open door leading to blackness. I should get up and go shut it. And so I was like, all right, before I take a nap, and I got up and I walked over there and I shut it.
Oh, no.
And then I was like, why didn't I get up and shut it?
Oh.
And then I was like, ugh. So I was like, whoa, that was awkward. Better get up and shut it. And I went and I shut it. And I was like, no,
Oh,
no.
Wow.
I didn't shut the door.
Caught in the loop.
Wow.
This by no means was as long as the parking lot incident, but I was roughly trying to remember how much it was, and it was like, I want to say like 15 times.
Wow.
15 times?
Yeah, like
Wow.
all I remember was it was slightly more than 10, so I'm like, well, round up. Yeah, it was like over 10 times I was like closing that door, and then finally, just like the last time, I knew I had actually woken up because I was like sweating profusely and going
Oh, man.
so yeah, that was fun.
That's right.
No clue what caused it. I don't know if it was sleeping on my back or on a bare floor, but maybe
Maybe a combination of the two.
And just the fear of the dark door, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that happened.
That'll do it.
Well, that's freaking horrifying.
Yes, it is. Imagine, because the thing is, the first time it occurred, it was spooky, sure, after like being tortured for being trapped who knows how many times,
Yeah.
going back and forth in my head. But it was the middle of the day and it was a parking lot. This was in the, in dawn, pitch black outside, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh,
Wow.
stop.
Man. It's been a while since we recorded.
Yes, it
But I
has.
did have not. I guess it's technically a lucid dream. I was aware that I was in a dream while I was dreaming.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and you were there, Ashley. And we were driving somewhere, and I can't remember.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
And you were just like, I am dreaming now.
Yeah.
I was the car.
You were the car?
You were the car.
Oh, wow. Like the cat bus.
That's a better way of thinking about it. Okay. Certainly nothing like cars.
Gross.
Yeah.
So anyway, this episode, we're gonna do something a little bit different. You can obviously tell if you look down at the time on whatever podcast app that you are listening to this on, that it's gonna be a little bit shorter. Basically, we're just gonna be kind of like catching up on emails. So we're reading 2 emails today. And yeah, we're just gonna like jump right into it. And also, I forgot to say, I wanted to start with the email that we read from Rory last episode. I believe it was last episode when he gave those coordinates. You know, he was talking about dimensional traveling and things like that. And I knew I should have done this. In the moment, I was like, I should look up these coordinates because it's Rory stats. He's it's obviously going to be a thing.
Yeah.
So we'll jump. How about we jump into Rory's email here?
Yeah.
And then we're like, nobody's playing that piano.
Oh no! Rory, I hope that you peed your pants with laughter in the middle of your work. All right. So he says, "Hey, scaredy cats. Scary cats. What's going on? What's going on? Sorry, it's been a while since I brought the ragtime. See, someone cares about it. And sorry,
I care about it. I just don't like saying it.
And he says, and sorry for
it
all
reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Bart has the the slogan, and they're like, "Say the thing, say the thing."
They were bringing this up because I was like, before we started recording, I was like, all right, y'all need to get it together on this Ragtime Rory song because every single time you don't do it. And they're like, it's not funny anymore. Just reuse the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best one.
Okay.
I just don't remember how it goes.
No. Anyway, and he says, and sorry for all the parentheticals and questions in this email. He said, I love your 2-parter on lucid dreaming.
Ooh.
I recently got a sleep study done, and as luck would have it, I have a terrible sleep pattern and have to use a CPAP machine at night to help me breathe properly.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy to me. He said, I've been using it for about 3 months, and when I first started, I wondered if this would suddenly give me superpowers at night. Like I might be able to completely aware of my mind and lucid dream like crazy, but that has not happened.
Oh, you didn't unlock the 70% of your brain that's dormant.
I know, right? Somehow we have 70% of our brain that we don't use.
I think that was disproven.
It's disproven. It doesn't make any sense. People are like, but what about our superpowers? And it's like, we don't have any.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
But okay.
Okay. And he said, like, blah, 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 that does not happen. It turns out most people sleep as I am now, and most people do not have sleeping powers. It was kind of a bummer when all that happened. When all that happened was wait, hold on. It was kind of a bummer when all that happened was I was a lot less tired during the day.
Oh.
All right. With my last email on dimensions, I hate this. I hate this sentence. It makes me feel bad. He said I was a little bit disappointed when you didn't punch in my coordinates in Google to see where they dropped the pin. It's not a secret code, but I thought it was a nice little Easter egg.
Oh.
And I knew I should have done it, and I'm so sorry I didn't do it. And so I did it, and it is the coordinates for the Estes. Oh my gosh, dang it! What's it called?
Stanley Hotel.
The Stanley Hotel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Estes Park.
Estes Park.
Yeah, I was thinking Estes Park. Yeah, it's the Stanley Hotel. I was like,
Nice.
oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So he said,
the tiniest hedge maze.
I know, right? It's not even a head. It
goes up to your shins.
It's a hedge design. So as you know,
They tried though.
I know. They did. At least they did something.
This is mildly inconvenient.
He says, so as you know, I have a 3-month-old baby in the house, and with that comes some middle of the night interruptions that must be attended to. So I'm awake and can't really do much while feeding an infant, so I decided to watch the original episodes of The Twilight Zone.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, and I am very impressed with the stories that they are able to tell in just 25 minutes. I know, right?
Yeah.
And how, as dated as these stories are, they can still really give you the creeps.
Yeah.
These are not only stories about some weird unexplained phenomenon or event, but also an interpretation of people and the human condition. Another thing that I really love about these earlier episodes is the overarching themes that keep popping up that are indicative of the times they were made, starting in 1959. For example, space travel is a huge theme that keeps popping up. With the tensions between the U.S. and the Soviet Union and the space race in full swing at the time, space travel was at a high in the American zeitgeist. Sputnik was just launched 2 years prior, and it's crazy to think about a world where so little was known about space, and because of that mystery and infinite potential, they were able to create great stories, even though they took some artistic liberties and some futuristic predictions.
I wish we could go back to having great stories about the ocean.
Oh my gosh, I was just
Vast
watching something about that
oceans.
today.
I
Yeah.
know. I mean, we still can. There's so much
Because
we
it's still
don't know.
uncharted,
Right.
like a lot of the underneath parts.
Like literally,
Yeah.
I was looking into
The
that
underneath
thing, that game Subnautica, because I think it's the coolest thing ever. That it plays on your fear of the deep ocean.
Yeah, that game can.
Yeah, I
that
don't-
would- that would
Space.
terrify me.
I don't want to watch that. I don't wanna
because
play that.
it's the ocean on an alien planet, and it's like, ho,
Yeah.
ho, ho, whoa!
I don't like that.
That's Uncharted.
Yeah, there's this video that we saw a long time ago on Fact or Faked where it was a supposed video of someone was taking when they were scuba diving, and it's just kind of some reefs, and they're swimming around, and then they pan over and you see the tail of a mermaid.
Oh, yeah,
and it freaked me out. Like deep water,
Yeah.
you're completely exposed.
Yeah.
You're completely exposed,
Yeah.
and like anything could be down there. I don't know. Obviously, it was fake, right?
true.
But
That's why you always got to bring a knife.
ugh. Well, just
I'm
a
just
knife.
saying,
That's
fact
it.
or fake, they were
Just a knife?
like, no, because if mermaids are real, they would look like this. And
Well,
then, and I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe you're just jealous. Look at dolphins. Look at dolphins, huh? I don't know a lot about marine biology, but I can definitely tell you that those are slick and
They're beautiful
their
creatures.
their skin is like extra thick and rubbery. Like you don't know. Like a species of something could exist down there. I'm just saying.
They
like,
just wouldn't be humanoid. Like they wouldn't have human skin and have long hair. And
water
like,
gorillas.
That doesn't.
Water
Think about
gorillas.
it. Think
That'd be
about
horrifying.
it. I'm saying.
You're not proving it. You're just saying water gorillas. Am I right? They could be
Look.
there.
Am I right?
They could be there.
I hate you.
You wicked, wicked devil.
Oh no. Now we're giving him airtime.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Oh brother. Okay. They are great stories about the psychological trauma that would come from weeks of spatial solitude, as if they would not be communicating to ground control. But like I said, how could they know how communication with astronauts would work at this point, so early in the space race? Or the human need for survival at all costs, even on a barren asteroid, which, spoiler alert, they were on Earth the whole time.
No.
It's like that Goosebumps episode where you think everyone's dead, and then they look up to the sky, and they're like, and the Earth is in the sky, and you're like, whoa, and that was it.
That was the one where they were at camp or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, you think everyone's a
And then
ghost
there's
or
like
something,
monsters,
or something like that. Yeah,
but it turns out they are actually monsters, and they're like training to go to Earth.
Yep.
Earth or something. Yeah,
Yep.
and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
and then that's the whole the end.
It's like the last 2 seconds of the episode.
We're like, wait. He said I could talk about the individual episodes all day. It is a lot of material.
Mm-hmm.
What episodes stick out to you guys of the Twilight Zone?
I
never watched the reboot,
yeah, me neither.
or like the most recent reboot. Never watched it.
I remember watching an episode where there's a guy that's on the corner selling like toys or something like that, and he has to distract the Grim Reaper from going up to this house to kill a child.
Whoa.
So he has to like distract him, like do his best sales pitch for like 3 hours or something like that, until midnight. I guess it's how death rules.
Yeah, I
work.
know. He's just not done, and we'll just go do it after that.
Yeah. But then I think he dies at the end.
Oh.
Whoa.
And he's like, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Wow.
And then there's the one where the guy is in the bank vault. And
Yes, that one's really good.
It's post-apocalyptic, and then he drops his glasses.
Yeah, all he wants to do is read, and then,
Yeah. It's not fair. It's not
and
fair.
he steps on his own glasses.
Yeah.
If he wanted, he could pick up the Sharpie. Whatever. I'm a coward.
Yeah.
My particularly favorite episode was from the later seasons. Whenever it was like it was either early '90s or late '90s, and it was like it definitely wasn't classic Twilight Zone anymore, but the episodes were still like pretty good. It was like Doctor Who quality. And there was one about, and I don't remember why, but you do something. I think it's just if you break if in the future, if you break a law, and it's so bizarre, instead of putting you in jail or anything like that, everyone in the world ignores you. Everyone. And like
It's kind of like Black Mirror, where you can be like blocked or whatever.
Oh.
And everyone has that sort of that computer in their brain, so if you're blocked, no one can see you.
I don't remember that episode.
Dude. Oh, it's in White Christmas or whatever with John Hamm when they're in that snowball
yeah.
or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I don't watch that. I don't like Black Mirror.
Wow.
It's a good
So,
anthology show.
It's like
Look.
the updated Twilight Zone. That's basically
See, and
what
that's
it
the
is.
thing. That's the thing. It's that meme of the guy with the two cars from the show about cars, top whatever it's called, where he's like,
Top whatever.
I like this, but no, he goes, this is good, but I prefer this. The thing is, I think the fears and things that they had during the early Twilight Zone premiere was more interesting to me because it was a product of its time. And the stuff that scares people nowadays is very much a product of our time again. And I find it ironic because it's like, okay, everybody's afraid of utopia, dystopia, blah, 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 whatever, technology.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like,
Pull up your dang
there's
pants.
such a high chance of, like, if something awful was to happen to humanity, it would not be a matter of technology. It would be a matter of ending up with a lack thereof. And I find that way more interesting than I do all of these stupid little, and they were trapped in the virtual reality the entire time, and oh, it was just a game, and he's sitting there foaming at the mouth. What a good episode. Stupid.
I think it's a little bit reductive, but
No,
okay. I mean,
really
there's
don't like
a bunch
Black
of different episodes. They all have different themes.
That's the one episode.
And everyone is welcome to enjoy
Wow.
it and have
Oh,
opinions.
wow.
It's just, if you have that opinion, come
It's
to our
wrong.
house. Fight me. We have a backyard.
I mean, you all know where we live, obviously.
Yeah,
That's what McAnally
I'll
thinks.
put on the fire pit and we will just tribal war dance and then fight. And I guarantee only one of us is going to come out of it, and they're not going to like Black Mirror.
That episode of Miley Cyrus with Miley Cyrus is really bad.
All right, it was trash.
It was
Okay,
so
not
bad.
not every episode is a banger. All right, and
You're
it's
right.
okay.
None of them.
And not
Wow.
every episode is like infinitely dystopian.
Yeah.
And that one was only like kind of.
Okay,
like,
White
almost.
Christmas is like the best episode ever. Okay.
No?
Anyway,
You're not ruining my Christmas.
It's pretty good.
I really like the episode of the Twilight Zone. It's super popular. It's the one where the woman is going under plastic surgery,
Yeah.
you know, and all these, you know, the whole doctors, and she's like, I just want to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And then they like they like, I think you see her face in the mirror first, and they're like, and they're like, it didn't
Yeah.
work, you know,
Yeah.
we're so sorry. And then like the doctors take off their masks, and they're like super.
They have, like,
pig
pig
noses.
faces,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I just think that's so interesting.
Yeah.
It's a really good episode. I have a really good memory. I have such a strong memory of the Twilight Zone when I was 12 years old. It was New Year's Eve, and my family was like getting ready to go to this like New Year's Eve party at church, and I was just watching a Twilight Zone marathon of like all the old episodes while eating like stuffed shells. Like I just kept microwaving stuffed shells and like watching episodes
Nice.
of the Twilight Zone. I don't know why it's such a strong memory, but I was like, I don't know, I was living my best life.
That's awesome.
It was
I don't want to upset anybody, so I want to finish real quick the description of the episode I was talking about.
Oh, my bad.
That's
right. I
the
forgot.
ousting episode, which is way better than Black Mirror. It there's like cameras.
show you've never
There was,
seen?
like-
Yes, go
yeah,
ahead.
it's like from Half-Life, these cameras that were flying around anyways. And so the guy was denied services and play. So essentially, you're also homeless because anywhere you go, like there was like a place where you feed people, and he couldn't get food because. And it ends with his thing is over. Like he's having a breakdown. He's like, look at me, and no one will look at him.
Yeah.
And then finally, thing's like, you have served your sentence. You are free to blah blah blah. And then a different guy was like, hey, somebody, anybody, and he's like, I see you, and he like hugs the dude, and then like they arrest him again because he
Wow.
he acknowledged someone else.
Dang.
So that's the episode.
Ooh, we gotta watch those old
I'm
episodes.
saying they're good.
I really like the episode with William Shatner on the plane. It's really fun. I love it.
That's the one that remade in
classic.
the movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Classic.
There's something on the wing.
All right.
Gremlin.
And he says, another common theme was nuclear armament and the fear of nuclear warfare and attack. This was also at the height of the Cold War and also in Americans' minds is the very real possibility of being blown to kingdom come by a nuclear bomb. So the point of me bringing this up is to suggest that the scary stories that we may enjoy the most, I think, may be the ones that are relevant to us as people or the thing that is most likely to kill us now. It is often based on legitimate problems, but is sometimes based on whatever mainstream media is blowing out of proportion. I think we could use scary movies and their themes to determine what the great fears of society are at a specific time period. That's very true. I see that like when you kind of watch those. I don't know who does them. Remember last time we went to Austin, we binge watched that Decades thing or whatever. Who does that? It's like
CNN.
Is it CNN? That's what I thought. When CNN does these like Decades things and they do the episode on movies, and so you kind of see the most popular movies of the time, especially in action movies, they'll be like, at the time, these were our country's enemies. So these are the movies that were the action movies that were coming out. These are the antagonists of those movies.
Yeah.
And you can see through the decades, these are the wars we were fighting or wars we were, thinking might be started. And these are the people, these are the antagonists that were showing up, consistently in these movies. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not pretty to look at the comic books of those ages either.
Yeah. So he said, I am thinking of the 70s and 80s and the movies concurrent with the Satanic Panic. I'm thinking of movies like The Exorcist in 1973 through Hellraiser in 1987. He said, I never saw it. Hellraiser is
It's not like
interesting.
That's
not
the
like
one with Pinhead, right?
yeah, it's not like satanic. They come from like a different dimension,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's like
But
a...
it's like
they're-
they come from like a pleasure dimension. And like the only pleasure they know now is like intense pain or something like that.
Right. The point of Hellraiser, the point of their whole thing is to get humans to the brink of pain where it's pleasure and they're like almost dying, basically.
That was a weird movie. I wasn't
I know,
paying
I
attention
know.
to it.
We put it on a couple Halloweens ago, and I was like, "Oh, Hellraiser, right?" Because I've never seen it. This is a good one, right? And then our friend Christine was like, "Yes, we love it." And so I put it on, and I was like, "This is not. I don't. I mean, it's just super weird, dude."
It seemed cool. Like the props and stuff seemed cool. But
Yeah, it's gnarly. Yeah. It's just the story is like not what you expect. You think it's just going to be like a creature feature, but it is not.
Yeah.
He says, I bet there was a proportionally significant amount of movies with satanic or demonic themes. Can you think of any more? In the 70s and 90s, or 70s and 80s particularly?
I want to say 80s there was it's called The Unborn, I think. Or that might not be it. The one it's with Schwarzenegger and it's about it's basically The Omen but not The Omen. And it's the action Omen.
Oh dang.
Cuz he's like I have to find it, I have to kill it.
Oh.
Some kind of like demon baby. I don't know.
Interesting.
But I mean that's also this is some degree well I guess the question is like straightforward satanic panic because some things are like interpreted as such.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like Rosemary's Babies. That was 68 though.
Yeah.
Are you looking at a list?
I am kind of looking at a list, yeah. 'Cause I'm trying
Let's
to. I'm sure
see.
that there. I mean, like I just can't think of any. off the top of my head. The one that I think of most isn't even a movie from that time. It's a movie about that time, which is House of the Devil.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite horror movies ever. It's straight about Satanic Panic in the 80s.
It's definitely a take on that for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's from 2011 or something like that, but it's so
really good.
perfect. The writing is perfect. The set, the costuming, the casting is perfect. Like I highly recommend if you like that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I would go with House of the Devil. I don't think that's the point of what we're talking about though. He said in the 90s, I'm thinking of the age of slasher films and 80s for sure.
Yeah, born in the 80s.
Yeah.
Forced upon the 90s.
Like late 70s to the 80s and 90s. I'm thinking of as the age of slasher films, starting with Scream. Scream is just amazing.
Yeah.
In 96.
I don't know if it started with Scream though. I feel like Scream is like the reinvention.
Scream.
Yeah.
That's exactly the word. Yeah, reinvented it.
I mean, that was the point of Scream, was sort of like recreating, is sort of like pulling from these movies of the past and making it a reality for these teenagers.
It's so frustrating though, because Scream for me did the same thing for horror that Jurassic Park did for a lot of, sci-fi thriller films. And it's just so frustrating that like Scream is genius. It's beautiful. We love it. It reinvents it. But then everybody's like, oh, that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no.
Yeah.
Learn from it. Use it as a springboard to continue to build upon this genius idea. But instead they're like, copy, paste. Do that.
Yeah. You can only go to Dinosaur Island once and have it be special.
It's true.
For real.
Well, and the thing is, look, I would say, especially because it was based on the book, I would say that Lost World is forgivable. But past that, there's no reason to continue with this. Even a reboot. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop.
Who was it that said, like, the point and sort of, like, magic, I don't know, the sort of mythical magic experience of Jurassic Park was the moment that you go into the park, that they went into the park and realized that the dinosaurs are real.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I know someone said that, but it's like, you can't recreate that. You just keep saying, like, we tamed it and now it's like back, and we tamed it and now it's back, and it's like, you can only do that once.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is not the podcast for this.
Anyways.
Catch us on So Anyway We Watched It.
Oh, yeah.
New episode coming soon. He said, I remember everyone being deathly afraid of the increasing crime rates and the worry of everyone being abducted and murdered. Silence of the Lambs, 1991, comes to mind as well.
Yeah. I would say even before that, like I Spit on Your Grave and like Death Wish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that was really big in the 70s.
Yeah.
With Charles Bronson.
By the way, what is her name? What is Jodie Foster's name in Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, Clarice.
What's her last name?
Wait, I know this. No, hold on. Darling.
There you go. Gillian Anderson actually based Dana Scully off of her. Which is very obvious, but absolutely freaking amazing. He says scientists have been watching those crime numbers rise higher and higher, and we're expecting the 90s to be the culmination of a violent crime increase that would decimate the greater law-abiding population.
Isn't that true?
Does the Purge fall under that category too? The Purge movies are trash. I'm sorry, but
Wow.
I don't like it. It's like you can only do one. You can only do one.
You can only go to Dinosaur Island once.
That's what I'm saying. That obviously did not happen for a variety of reasons, but it was a real fear in the American mind. We were all going to be murdered by serial killers.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single one of us was going to be murdered by a serial killer somehow.
That was the big like discovery in like the 70s or 80s. Like there are these people out there that are repeatedly, impulsively doing these crimes.
Yeah.
And like there's no rhyme or like they're not stealing.
Right.
They don't want to reason. They just literally they just want to kill.
Right.
And that is what they enjoy doing.
Was it the 60s that they coined the term serial killer, and then it became part of the general
Lingo.
population's kind of like understanding?
Yeah.
And then pedophiles too. I think it was the 80s. The 80s is when they started learning that freaking pedophiles, like, your kids aren't running away. Your kid's not a runaway,
and
dude.
It does bring it back to like the idea of like xenocryptology or whatever, like, or zoology. It's like back then, if someone went missing, you didn't have any reference point. Like you didn't really think that there were people preying on other people just because they wanted to kill.
Right, exactly.
Like then it's easier to believe that they disappeared
Yeah,
or something took them, or like
That's true. That's very true.
It's good that we live in an age of skeptical people that are always watching their backs. I mean, yeah, we're all anxiety filled, but the thing is, it's good to have that knowledge now. But just looking back, you want to think they're stupid, but it's not that they're stupid. It's that they were a product of their time, and that you go for so many decades upon decades of people that are just like, why lock your door? I mean, you live in your neighborhood because you like your neighbors, you like the people you're with. Who would
why would anyone do anything
come
bad?
for me?
Yeah.
I'm just Jim Joe. I live down the street.
I'm just Jim Joe.
Man, everyone knows Jim Joe.
Yep.
Everybody thinks of the Jim Joe.
But that's not spooky. Carry on, Rory. Carry on.
I know, right? I'm thinking also within the past decade or two, when we were in our teenage years and the 20s, of the scary movies that have appeared, ignoring all lower quality cash grabs like unnecessary sequels for torture porn, although those may have a place in this theory too. But what do you think? I'm thinking of today's fears of technological advances that are unprecedented, much like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Yawn.
He didn't say Black Mirror, but that's what I said. Technology has always been a fear, going back to radio and television, even going back further than that. The written word. When the written word like was being sort of like mass produced, people were like, "You're going to read? You're going to read a book?"
What if you summon the devil?
Like I'm not even joking. Like these centuries and centuries and centuries, thousands of years ago. Like new technologies, even though we think of technology now as being like radio waves or satellite waves or whatever, like new technology, even going back to writing, was this sort of like huge controversial like watershed moment in humanity. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to radio and television. But today, we are reaching crazy levels of AI. And anytime I see AI, I always read it as Al.
Oh, yeah.
And I think today that artificial intelligence is what is a common fear. There are many scary movies that employ sentience. I'm not paying attention. Of tech to kill us, like the new Child's Play movie or Black Mirror.
Gosh, I want to see that movie.
Child's Play?
I heard it was
Yes.
bad. I heard it was bad.
I actually heard it was pretty decent.
I know.
What? Who told you that?
My friend Ryan up in San Antonio. Hi,
I
Ryan.
don't trust Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. I don't know you.
Man.
I am also I just love making enemies. I am also thinking of disease and the recent epidemics of Ebola and flu and etc. That we have seen come into play. This would also this would relate to the past zombie crazes that we have been through the past 20 years, and would even go as far to suggest STDs. In parentheses, it follows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, STDs. Ooh. Dude, It Follows was like so weird, but it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
He said, let's not forget another thing that is likely to kill us all, climate change. Climate change has been employed as a point in thriller action movies for a while now. Think 2012. I can't think of any others right now. I don't know, The Day After
The Day
Tomorrow,
After Tomorrow.
maybe.
The Day After
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a good example.
2012 is just like, I love John Cusack, but that movie also was trash. He said, you'll notice that some of those themes were legitimate fears: nuclear armament, tech advances, climate change, and some were kind of silly in retrospect, like satanic panic or ultra-high crime.
Is it silly, Rory? Is it?
Is it?
And then our door gets
it was a bit
burst down.
overblown.
and there's
Why aren't
there's
you
a
answering?
call, like, "Arr!"
Oh, no. Excuse me.
Wow.
He says, do you guys have any other examples of today's societal fears prompting specific themes within the scary movies being made, real or imaginary fears? I enjoyed thinking about this topic, and I'm trying to come up with movie examples that apply to greater fears. However, I also liked trying to think of movies that were standalone to the fears outside.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of like evil child movies.
That's
like
the
maybe
one the one thing that makes me yawn harder than anything else is fear of your child being evil or something wrong being with your child.
I think that might just be like a
It's universal.
an
like,
instinctual fear.
yeah,
of,
it doesn't
like,
matter what decade.
What if my
Right.
kid's evil?
Like it works
I mean,
in with
that's the
Satanic
thing.
Panic, but Rosemary's Baby is the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
what if your child just
Your
turned out to be
creation
evil?
that
It
you
also-
think you'll be able to like raise, and your family that is safe. This is one place you want to feel safe.
Yeah.
Is being run by evil.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think like a legitimate child psychopath is something that could potentially be scary because I mean, like you blame yourself almost in an instance, but all these movies always ploy some kind of like alien hybrid or Satan, like possessing. Like, look, spoilers, but that stupid movie that was Evil Superman, it was just like there's a moment in the movie where he just switches. Like he's a kid. He's just a kid. They did a good job raising him, and he goes, and then he's just like evil for the rest of the movie. And
Yeah.
he's emotionless and evil, and it's like you're supposed to be like, ooh, yeah, but no. Like from the moment that he stops being a kid and he's just like this little death machine, who cares? It's just like all the other horrible movies like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, this emotionless, thing is gonna run around and kill people, but
Yeah.
also it's a child.
It's just like you see the same things in slasher movies, although like you can like be creative with like kills and stuff like that, but essentially it's just like a bunch of people getting killed.
Yeah.
You see the same exact scenes in evil child movies and it's not even
man.
interesting. It's just boring. They always go to the psychologist. The psychologist,
And then they don't want to believe it.
They ignore it
Yeah.
too. They ignore
Yeah.
it too. They'll be like, you really should keep them away from kittens, and then like, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm the parent.
Yeah, it's just like none of this is interesting writing at all.
Calling out their names.
I was listening to the new My Favorite Murder, and they talked about how this family moved into the Edmund Kemper house,
Oh, yeah.
his mom's house. Edmund Kemper, this prolific serial killer that did the co-ed killer, they called
Yeah.
him, that did horrible things to women. Was a genius psychopath, and murdered his mother, did horrible things to her body in that house. And so this family moved in. They had a 3-year-old daughter, and the moment they moved in, apparently she started, as a 3-year-old, would get knives in the middle of the night, just like stand in doorways, and then talk about wanting to cook up and eat people.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then they lived in that house for 6 years, question mark.
Stupid.
Why did you
Yeah.
stay that long? And then apparently the moment they moved out, she turned normal again.
Yeah.
Like she never deal with that again. It was just like, I don't know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Should have
man.
moved out sooner.
I mean, evil child movies is what came to mind, but like, I don't
And
know.
and
It's really
I would
interesting.
go so far as to say this past decade it's not just evil child movies, though those are rampant. I would say also, and this is what I'm getting sick of, is the loss of innocence horror movies.
Oh, sure.
Like the whole craze. It's not a movie yet, but I swear the stupid craze with kids over Five Nights at Freddy's, and like it's all this stuff. It's like take something that
Yeah.
made you comfortable before and make it uncomfortable. And I get it, that in and of itself is like a common trope of horror, but like it's been done so much and so poorly in the past 10 years that it's
Yeah.
just like the moment I see something that's like, I bet you thought this would be okay. Well, guess what? It's not okay. And it's,
yeah.
It kind of goes back. I mean, they're like hand in hand. The two themes are hand
Mm-hmm.
in hand because you think these nostalgic things or these are the safe things, right?
Right,
And then you
yeah.
realize this is not the safe thing. This is a thing that will hurt you.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, some fears are timeless, like ghosts. Ooh.
Ooh.
Since the beginning of time, because the afterlife seems so opaque to us, is it just another dimension? Check out last episode.
Yeah.
We don't have any answers. The fear of ghosts lingering around and haunting us is one of those themes that will never go away because there will never be closure on it until we die.
Yeah.
Until we die.
It is weird to see like movies that are just ghost movies.
Hmm.
It feels like there's something missing.
Right.
Like there should be something
Where's the
extra
gimmick?
on.
Like a hook or something?
Yeah, and it's not like they're bad. Like
Hmm.
I liked The Lady in Black and
Oh, yeah.
Crimson Peak and like
Oh, Crimson Peak was just crazy, man.
Crimson Peak was wild.
That was crazy.
I mean,
Is it-
I like those movies like
Hmm.
well enough, but like it
is
just
Crimson
seems-
Peak the one with Tom Hiddleston? Mm-hmm. Oh,
Is it?
I like that one. Wait, is it?
It's the one with Adrian Brody.
No,
That's not
no,
Adrian.
never mind.
I don't think that was Adrian Brody.
Wasn't he the other twin?
Oh, I don't know.
Twin?
I remember.
I think we're mixing up movies here. I'll have to ask Avery.
It's the Guillermo del Toro movie.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not
The
talking
Haunted
about that then.
House.
Wait.
I thought it was Tom
Uh-huh.
Hiddleston. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, we also watched Ready or Not recently, and it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
killer
People
movie.
keep telling me about that. What
It's
is
good.
it a good
so
movie?
good.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it actually has some like paranormal themes
What's
to it.
the what's the non spoiler free like? What's the premise?
She gets basically married into this family.
This very
that
rich family.
They have this like really weird ritual of like playing a game on the wedding night, and it can be like anything, and it's like randomly determined by
This like a box that was
yeah.
created by this man who gave them their fortune in the first place.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
like normally it's I guess like normal, but like if someone manages to draw like hide and seek, it turns into like a murder party.
Right, they have to kill her. Yeah, and she doesn't know.
Yeah.
But the husband did.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's an amazing movie. You guys
It's
should
good.
watch it. And there are paranormal themes to it.
Yeah.
He says, it can't be proven or unproven scientifically in this life, as far as we
Yet.
can tell now. Therefore, haunting movies like the Amityville Horror or paranormal experiences... paranormal experience. I'm sorry. Paranormal experiences. Wasn't that really horrible one?
I think that's Paranormal Encounters.
Oh, Encounter,
Wait,
you're so right.
No, that's the actual. Okay.
No. Paranormal Activity.
Paranormal
Activity, yeah,
Activity.
yeah, yeah.
Paranormal
And you're right.
Encounter.
You're right.
Okay,
Encounters is the.
I think we found another theme here from like the early 2000s of found footage.
Yeah, found footage was a thing.
Found
it was
footage
a thing.
ghost
Man.
movies. He said, or any ghost story really will never stop being made for better or worse.
Yeah.
What are some types of scary stories that are timeless? Any ideas on that? Aliens, maybe? I mean, ghost stories. Ghost
stories
stories
are
or... I think slasher movies are timeless. Like,
I-
you're always going to be afraid of the unknown.
I was
you
gonna say
know?
not to say the vague but correct answer, but I want to say just things that's happened to things that we don't understand or unknown. You know, like because that's the thing. I was pretty surprised by and again, it wasn't the scariest movie in the world, but I'm gonna forget it now. It was I watched it in Japan. It was the one about the guys who they were all their friend died, something with a forest. I don't know. I'm gonna forget it now. But anyways, like the creature in the end that was like hunting them down was like this big. I'd have to show you a picture of it. It's like they didn't have a name for it. I don't think it was like the son of Loki or something like that.
Weird.
And it's like this giant, like almost mammoth body, but with like a person torso coming out.
Wait,
of
wasn't
the
that
heck?
the Knuckalave picture GIF that Monica sent in?
Yes.
Yeah, it was
'Cause
a
I said
Knuckalave,
it was-
right?
Well, it's
Or
not
similar
it's-
to it.
It's similar to it. It's not the same
Oh,
thing.
that's
That
funny.
specific movie was
Oh,
just like,
that's so
it's like
freaking
Norse mythology, and yeah, it was like coming into the door or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a relatively. It was okay.
I think cult movies are timeless too.
Yeah.
The idea of you are the only one in the society that sees reality and
Yeah.
is not a part of the shared perception.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's timeless.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. I just love cult movies.
It's true.
He says, do you have any predictions on scary movies that might be made based on today's fears or what seems likely to kill us? Some issues I can think of are the opioid epidemic, social media addiction. Has that been done already? Yes, it has.
I mean,
See the Black Mirror episode with Miley Cyrus.
oh yeah, and the opioid addiction thing. I mean, there are themes of that in Haunting on Hill House.
That's that's very true. Or just loneliness or depression, anxiety being the root of a horror story somehow. Also very true.
Yeah.
See Midsummer.
There are games that deal with depression as a
lot.
horror topic.
Yeah.
What would you say those are? And what would you say those are?
There's this one that I'm thinking of specifically that looks like the entire game looks like an Edward Gorey drawing. And it's really cool.
That's crazy.
It's very cool, but I cannot remember the name of it.
Gosh.
Man.
And I never know what you're talking about with that stuff, but I actually know this one, and I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
Going back to Haunting a Hill House, if you guys have not watched that, y'all gotta watch Haunting a
it's
Hill
good.
House, man.
I have not.
Amazing.
It's good.
Incredible. I would watch it again.
Yeah, I'd watch it again.
All right, let's watch it.
He says, anyways, that idea has been on my mind. Keep up the good work. I know life is busy, but these long breaks between episodes are killing me. I know.
Okay, don't worry.
I know. He says, you guys getting burned out. Hey,
Easy there, buddy.
All right.
I am an eternal flame. I am the phoenix reborn.
Wow. No, we're not getting burned out. No, we went to record.
There he goes.
No, we went. Rein it in here. You can only tell the same joke so many times. Oh, did I just prove my? Did I
you proved
just
yourself
prove
right.
What happened?
Anyway, no, I got sick for like a straight week and a half, so we were going to record for the last 2 weeks.
I
but
was
just
sick
got
for all of December.
Yeah, we were basically
But you
just
guys remember that.
exchanging sicknesses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That whole bit.
Ah, yes.
Anyway, he said, "Keep bringing the spook,
worry.
Rory. The Twilight Night stats."
Well, guess what, Rory? We just found an underground bunker, and it is chock full of cans of more episodes.
Whoa!
And it doesn't expire for another 6 years. We're good to go, baby.
Botulism, baby.
That means this will be the last episode.
These beans
what
are
that means.
chalky.
Oh no! Oh, these beans burn.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Spicy beans.
All right, so we're actually going to dive into a listener that we've never got an email from before.
Oh, wow.
This was from December, so this was from
Hi, December.
It's just a couple weeks ago. All right, it wasn't that long ago. His name is Ivan.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna dive in. And he uses my one of my favorite ways to address a group of people. Hey, gang.
Hey, gang.
Hey.
I love saying it. I love it.
Hey,
All
bud.
right.
McAnally's all chipper now. He's like, he like sat up in his chair. He said, "I'm Ivan," or I'm sorry, they. I don't know his pronouns. Their pronouns. They said, "I'm Ivan. I started listening to y'all about a month ago, and I'm in love with the podcast."
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, that's so.
thanks, Ivan.
Anyway, he said, "Keep up the great work." So anyway, you can tell they're
Wow.
on to the spooky story. I used to live in a small town in Mexico called Nuevo Casas Grandes, which is about 3 hours from El Paso, but ultimately moved to El Paso when I was 10, and they said I'm currently 20. I had experienced some spooky stuff in the house prior to moving out.
Ooh.
So here we go. Late at night, I would hear some stools that we had in our kitchen moving around back and forth. One night, I built up the courage to go and investigate. I was about 6 or 7 at the time. One of my sisters was prone to sleepwalking, so I went to their room to see, to check if she was sleepwalking, but all 3 of my sisters were sound asleep in their beds. Then I went to check if my parents were in bed, and they were. So I went into the kitchen, and in the corner of the room, oh my lord, I saw a large black shadow hovering up on the ceiling.
Oh.
I ran back to my parents' room, and I fell asleep in their bed. Not letting them know.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just let it do its thing. They said my sisters claim that they sometimes heard footsteps in the middle of the night in their room and some sort of Indian chanting. Before there were any houses built in that area, it was inhabited by indigenous peoples.
Okay.
On my front yard, my mom had a boulder that had an indentation in it. Later, oh my lord, I found that that boulder was actually a molcajete, which is like a pestle. So that's pretty interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he says, well, that pestle has been there since my parents moved in. I believe that this is the cause of all of the occurrences in my home. We have gone back to visit the old home because my grandmother now lives there, and you can't help but fight the feeling that you are being watched at night.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Man, I swear, if I ever start sleepwalking, I give you express permission to strap me to a bed at night.
Yeah, I will. I don't. Sleepwalking is horrible. Ugh, it's awful. And that's it, I guess. nothing else on sleepwalking.
I don't know.
My dad used to have when I was a baby. I mean, I never experienced it. My parents were really stressed out when I was a baby, very poor, and my mom literally would watch me during the day and work at night. My dad would work during the day and watch me at night, so they basically got no sleep. And so my dad would have these horrible night terrors where he would wake up and think, like, one of them was like he saw this like ooze coming from the ceiling, and so he like grabbed me and my mom and ran down the stairs, basically like trying to get away from it. Another one was he thought my mom was someone else, and he literally was just like throwing her across the room trying to like get away from her.
Yeah.
Like, Night terrors are freaking terrifying.
Insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
horrifying.
Man.
I don't think I ever had night terrors. I have in the past couple of weeks though. I have been like seeing things again when I wake
really?
up from my sleep.
Yeah.
Like one time I woke up and I was facing your side of the bed, and I swear to you, I saw this like, and it look okay. I was sleeping, and sometimes you see things when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So you're like, yes.
Yeah.
So I opened my eyes.
It was on my side of the bed.
It was on your side of the bed, and
Okay.
it was like this kind of white figure of a little girl, but it was just her profile, and she was just kind of all of the things I ever see when I wake up, kind of open my eyes like in the middle of sleep. It's almost like these like images that are like, when you see like a bright flash and it just kind of stays with you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So it's kind of like this like flash of an image, and she just kind of like went into the wall until she disappeared.
Whoa.
But like they're all like that. Like when I
Yeah.
used to see the hands, or
Yeah.
like I used to see the spiders, it would just kind of like be this thing, and then I would look at it and be like, this is not happening, until
Yeah.
they disappear.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've never seen any shadows or anything like that, but it sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get any weird anything in this house, like
Yeah.
literally at all.
Oh, really?
So I mean, their hallway is creepy, but
It
besides
is
that,
creepy.
What hallway? That's not a hallway. That's 2 footsteps.
yeah.
Last night, though, not last night, either last night or like the night before, you guys, did one of you get up to like go double check the door was locked or something? Because
Probably.
Most likely.
Okay, because it was super late and I heard the thud in my door. If you do anything in here, the air pressure in the hallway goes. And
Yeah.
I was like, nice try. I know you're walking around. And then it went.
Wow. Do you hear when I get up to go to the bathroom at night? Can you hear my footsteps?
Every time.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, they're super loud. I can't help it. Our floors are just like, ew, why are they wet? I don't know.
Don't know.
No, our floors are very old wood floors, so every time I get up, it's like these huge crashing footsteps, and
Yeah.
I have to pee like 4 times a freaking night. And thank you, listeners, so much for listening.
Yeah.
So glad I told you I pee 4 times a night. Anyway.
I always hate when I wake up in the morning and I'm trying to be quiet because you're still asleep, and all I can hear is like because
Yeah.
I keep stepping on the stupid wood floors over and over again.
If you wake up, I'm probably already awake.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so thanks you guys for tuning in this week. I know it was a little bit different, but we did want to catch up on emails and
Yeah.
kind of, get the first episode of the year going.
Get it going.
As always, you can find us on Instagram at It's Haunted Podcast. You can email your stories or whatever you're thinking about to anywayitshaunted@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We are on iTunes, on Spotify, on Stitcher, on YouTube, and basically anywhere podcasts are found besides, I don't know, SoundCloud, because so yeah, man, if you're into movies, check out the So Anyway We Watched It podcast.
Oh yeah.
We haven't had a new episode up in a while.
Oh yeah.
Just because life happens.
We got
but,
so
like,
many movies to catch up on.
dude, so many freaking movies, man. We watched Signs the other night. I was freaking. I highly recommend that every single listener goes and watches Signs. It is an amazing movie.
It's fun.
The writing is amazing. The acting is amazing. I mean, is it perfect? Nah.
Yeah.
But like, it's so good. It's just so good. Anyway, so yeah, join us again next episode. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks to all our new listeners. We hope that you guys hang out with us every week, and we're just excited to be here, man.
Yeah.
Hope the new year's treating y'all well.
Thank you for listening to this lost found episode of So Anyway It's Haunted.
This has been a special recording of So Anyway It's Haunted. Good night.
Not all of them are special.
This is a very special episode.
Tonight,
Anyway,
on a
It's
very
Haunted.
special, completely boring and ordinary episode of So Anyway, It's Haunted.
Someone gets talked to about drugs and why they're bad.
And Black Mirror is not good.
When you're on drugs, you die. and then you go to hell. Wait, you go to hell,
And then you
then
die.
you die. My bad.
Thank you, Ghost of Lou Albano.
I goofed on that one. Cha-Cha, would you like to say anything?
Do the Mario. Well, she's not giving you anything.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.